Directed by Jaume Collet Serra, Woman in the Yard was very highly anticipated for me. And then after watching it, I definitely have some different thoughts and opinions and feelings about the film, to say the least. So let's get into it. In the words of my boy Raj from The Big Bang Theory, hello. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm not gonna lie to you folks, I was really excited for this film, and while watching it, it was just really gripping. It got you right here, and then you get to the beginning of the third act, and then it just all of a sudden was like an inflated balloon with water, and just went nowhere. I was so disappointed in this film. So we're gonna get to some of these characters really quick, and then I'm gonna get right into exactly why this film just kind of missed the mark for me. So playing the mother in this film, Ramona, is Danielle Deadwyler. Okwi Okpok Wasili plays the woman in the yard. And I do apologize if I said that wrong. I did my best to pronounce it the correct way, and I don't want to offend anybody of any culture whatsoever. So I do apologize if anything that I say, anybody's name that I might mispronounce, I do apologize. I mean no disrespect. And Peyton Jackson plays Taylor, the young son in this film. And might I say, that boy really, you know what? We'll save it for later. Estela Cajilla plays Annie, the young daughter in this film, and what a sweetheart. And finally, we have Russell Hornsby, who plays David. I've seen him in quite a few other films and you know, BET stuff, and he is a great actor, phenomenal actor. I really love him in majority of the things he's in, whether he's a twat waffle or whether he's a good guy. So I do apologize if this review is very short and sweet. It's just there is not much to really discuss when it comes to this film, mainly because I feel like this film tried to do too much and it tried too hard when it should have just stayed in the simple way that it was when it started off.
What's in these? What am I tasting? Doritos? I like it.
The basic synopsis is Ramona and David got into a car accident, and unfortunately, David did not live, and Ramona did, with a hell of a lot of injuries, and not necessarily psychosis, but whenever you go through something that traumatic, things happen. You know, things happen, your mind gets screwed, and everything is askew, and you think differently than you ever would have in the most worst and irrational way possible. So Ramona is there with her kids, Taylor and Annie, and you know, one day she just sees this woman, all in black, sitting in a yard, in their yard, in a chair.
There's a woman in the yard.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Where'd she come from?
I don't know that either. Maybe.
Like out of nowhere, you know, her kids see it, she sees it, and their dog, he is just barking up a storm. And we know when it comes to like ethereal things and all that other stuff that there's nothing there, and this dog just keeps barking at something. That means that they can see something that we can't. Once that started happening, we were like, oh hell no, the devil is a lie. Yeah, folks, honestly, I will say that it's not that I was confused by it, because I understood what the premise was. This woman, she's battling with, I would assume, suicidal tendencies, but also just a ton of guilt and resentment towards herself, and sadness and depression. And you know, in the trailer it says, today's the day.
Today's the day.
You know, and it's basically like, you know, today's the day that, you know, you gone. You know what I mean? Like, today's the day that something really bad is gonna happen. And it turns out that the whole time, it just seemed like it was a massive buildup for basically nothing. It just kind of led to nowhere. Like, finally, but towards the end, we got to the main premise of what was happening and who was in control. And even then, it was just still like, okay, but how though? Like, how does that translate? You know, on the plus side, I will say that the cinematography was pretty good. Like I said in the beginning, it really had us. There were some moments where it was suspenseful and things were happening and it was kind of creepy and eerie. And we were like, oh my God, did she really just do that? And then it pans and it's just in her head. You know, things are happening in her head, and we really thought that she was gonna hurt the kids. The way how it was directed, the way how things were panned, and how the acting even, it's in the beginning, like the first chunk of the movie, you're gripped, you're hooked, you are in there, hook, line, and sinker. It's just, the movie lost its way in the worst way. It's like we got to the precipice and we're like, okay, here we go. We're about to find it out. We're about to get to the main point of the movie. And then all of a sudden it was like this, drop flat to the bottom of the ocean. And we're sitting here. I looked at Jen and I was like, are you kidding me? We were so hot. Like it was so aggravating because you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, but like, yeah, but what? This doesn't really make that much sense. Like, I mean, it makes sense in the aspect of the film and the nature of what they were going for with like creep factor and how the mental instability, mental degradation. I understand that, but like we could have done this a little differently, right? Like we could have expanded a little more. And the film was, only an hour and 40-something minutes or 30-something minutes, I believe. So again, another short one that could have just been fleshed out a little bit more. Like, I don't mind if a movie is an hour and 30 minutes long. Hey, that's a very quick watch. That's like a hop, skip, and a trip away. If they make good use of that time, right? Same thing with like a 3-hour movie. I don't mind if it's a 3-hour movie, but make good use of the time. This movie definitely could have been about 2 hours and 15 minutes long. And the reason that I say that is when you see it, if you've already seen it, please comment down below and you can discuss it with me, because I was not a fan when it came to the ending, and it really just took me out of the whole movie. With the nature of this film and going a little bit more in backstory, I kind of would have loved to see a little bit more, especially with Ramona's mental side, and going a little bit more into like her and David and talking about some other things and this other woman, that was not necessarily a woman, but we understand the nature of horror films and everything. I would have liked to see a little bit more exposition. I would have liked to see a little bit more of a build and a better climax, because I feel like it could have been a better climax with a little bit more runtime and a little bit better direction. Not saying the direction was bad, it's just I feel like it was a little jumbled and it tried to do too much. As I said in the beginning, it tried to do too much when it should have just stayed with the same tone that it had. And then if there was gonna be a big finale, which I mean that's what it was supposed to be, but unfortunately it just did not land for me personally. Could have been a lot better and a lot bigger with a more simplistic approach to it, if that makes sense. So overall, acting was not bad. I was invested. I was hooked. The annoyances from the mom and from the kids. And I will say, man, Taylor, that kid, boy, he was about to get the big old 1-2, man, because I could never talk to my parents that way. I would not be here today. Folks, I would not be here today if I spoke to my parents the way that this kid spoke to his mom and the way how he acted when she told him to stop doing stuff. Oh, Lord of mercy. No. So that was annoying me too, like the disrespect from him. Like, I get it, like the mom should have done a little bit more, even though yes, she was injured and exasperated with a lot of things. The phone bill wasn't paid and the electric, I get it. You have kids to take care of, so you got to step it up a little bit. At the same time, the kids don't really know what she has to do a lot of stuff too, so it's like the disrespect kind of just was like, yo, chill out with that. But it served its purpose in the film. It made me feel a certain way about the son and the mother too, especially when everything was going on. So overall, it wasn't a terrible film. It just could have been a lot better with the elements that they had if they just expanded on those simple elements instead of trying to do too much and going over the top with things. Thank you so much for joining me in another review, guys. It's much appreciated. You know the drill. Like button, subscribe, and bell. Please and thank you. Thanks again for watching, guys. Until the next one.